spirit of caring and compassion and joy, let us begin our service. Well, we're entering a time of great expectations. Christians look forward to the birth of Christ. Pagans look forward to the rebirth of the sun at solstice. And what are the kids looking for? Yes, Santa's going to bring those presents. So what is it that stirs expectations in us? What do we long for? Now, did you ever have an Advent calendar? How many people ever had an Advent calendar? Oh, yes, of course, a German woman would have one for sure, right? I remember them being really magical. There was a beautiful picture, sometimes of a Christmassy street scene, and there were a lot of little doors in the picture, and behind each one was a wonderful surprise. You only got to open one door each day, so the expectation would build as you got closer and closer to Christmas. Now, the first Advent calendars were printed in the early 1900s, though we're told that the very first one was made by hand back in 1851. One of the first Advent calendar publishers was a man named Gerhard Lang in Germany. He produced little colored pictures that could be stuck onto cardboard every day in December. He remembered that his mother had made one for him by hand when he was a child with pictures of 24 little candles, and he'd put one up each day of the month. Of course, people had been marking the time till Christmas long before that, sometimes by taking a piece of chalk and they'd mark off the days on their door. They'd actually put it on their door. Now, in 1904, a newspaper in Stuttgart published an Advent calendar as a gift for their readers. And the tradition of the Advent calendar caught on and went all around the globe. Now, when World War II came, the printing of the calendars in Germany had to stop. There was a shortage of cardboard, and printing them was forbidden. But after the war, the tradition was picked up again. And then by 1958, there were Advent calendars, not only with colored pictures, but little chocolates. You remember the little chocolates, yes, and even little toys behind the doors. Now, Dwight D. Eisenhower was actually photographed with his grandchildren looking through an Advent calendar, and that increased the popularity of the tradition in the United States. Now, you can buy a simple Advent calendar for less than $2. Nancy and I went Advent calendar shopping the other day. But some of the calendars can cost a whole lot more than that. One of the most expensive ones ever made cost $50,000, okay? It was a 4-foot-high one shaped like a Christmas tree, and it was carved out of elm and walnut. And each of the 24 little compartments had a piece of organic chocolate. The proceeds went to support cocoa farmers in Belize, so I guess it was a good, good use of that money. The world's largest Advent calendar was actually made out of a building in Gloucester, England. It was a derelict old building downtown, and they transformed the building by wrapping it up like a giant Christmas present, right? And then they would open a window every day. Now, there's an Advent calendar that features pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope. That's pretty cool. And the Lego company has produced Advent calendar sets with little figures and Lego accessories. And I understand there was a naked showering Santa behind one door, which I thought was a little odd. I think I prefer the chocolates. Now, imagine that we have a giant Advent calendar here today, okay? Just picture this. Imagine that it's a big, beautiful picture, maybe a New Mexico scene, maybe with adobe houses, right? And a little sprinkling of snow to make it look kind of Christmassy, okay? Can you picture this? Now, because it's an Advent calendar, it's going to have little doors that we can open this morning, all right? Now imagine that behind the first door is a toy. Okay, now it's not a child's toy, but something that would bring great delight to you. all right? It's a material thing that you don't really need, but you would really love to have, all right? Something that would be fun for you to have, all right? Maybe it's a new car, and not just a new car, but a bright red convertible, all right? We're talking fun here now, okay? Or maybe it's a new TV set or an iPad or a new camera or a new smartphone. What would you really love to have? Think about it. What is that thing that you would really love to have that's a material thing? Now, we're going to open the door, and as we open the door, we're going to say, ooh, ah. So let's practice. Ooh, ah. Okay, now, okay, here we go. We're opening the door, the first door. Ooh, ah. And just let yourself feel the delight of finding that thing that you would love to have. There it is, right behind, door number 1. Savor that feeling, that childlike delight in discovering something that you love to have. Now, I'm not advocating consumerism, especially this close to Black Friday, but part of the magic of this season is becoming like a child again, not being a jaded adult, not being cynical, but allowing yourself to be open to new possibilities, allowing yourself to laugh and enjoy life. When's the last time that you laughed? I mean, really, really laughed really hard. Think about that. When is the last time you did something just for fun? Just for fun. Sometimes, especially at the holiday season, we get so stressed out that we forget to laugh and we forget to feel the magic. So let go of that stress. Let your imagination run free, because it's the spark of your imagination that's going to let you create something new in the world. Now look again at that Advent story. Mary is pregnant with possibility. She goes to visit her kinswoman Elizabeth, who's also pregnant. And Mary sings a song that's become known as the Magnificat. She sings about the child that she carries within her. And in the song, she says, "This child will overthrow the mighty, cast down the powerful, lift up the humble people. He'll fill up the hungry people and send the rich people away." This is a really radical vision. Right? She knows what she carries within her. And at some level, we know what we carry within us. We have great creativity within ourselves. We are pregnant with possibility. So allow that creativity to be born, nurture it. This is what will change the world. And remove the obstacles that will block that creativity. Now, this brings us to the second door in our imaginary calendar here. Now, imagine that behind this door, there is something that's not material, a tangible thing, but something that you long for in your life. Maybe it has to do with feeling loved, beautiful love pouring out to you, or appreciation for all the things that you do. Or maybe it's something entirely different. Maybe it has to do with your health, feeling vibrant and healthy again. What is it that you long for in your life? What is it that you truly desire for yourself? Imagine that it's waiting for you behind this door. Okay, are you ready? You got a picture of what that will be? Okay, time to say, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. The door's open and the gift is there for you. Savor that feeling. What you have longed for is present and here for you right now. Feel what that feels like to have what you long for. Sometimes the real gift is not the gift itself, but the feeling that it gives you. And that feeling is as close as your imagination. Studies tell us that when we clearly imagine something, it triggers a change inside our bodies. Our bodies respond as if we had actually received the gift. I remember reading the book Ageless Body, Timeless Mind by Deepak Chopra. Have anybody read that? It's a great book. You need to get your hands on this book. He describes a study that was done in 1979 on two groups of older men. A psychologist named Ellen Langer, along with her colleagues at Harvard, invited the two groups of men to spend a week at a country resort. All the men were 75 years old or older. Now, one group was the control group, so they just got to spend a nice week in some really nice surroundings, right? But the other group was asked to pretend that the clock was set back 20 years earlier. So instead of 1979, they were going to be living in 1959. Instead of magazines from 1979, the reading tables there at the resort held issues of Life and the Saturday Evening Post from 1959. The only music that was played was 20 years old, and the men were asked to behave entirely as if the year were 1959. All the talk that they did among themselves had to refer to events and people of that year. Every detail of their week in the country was geared to make each subject feel, look, talk, and behave as he had in his mid-50s. Now, in the meantime, the psychologist made measurements of each of these men, including physical strength, posture, perception, cognition, short-term memory, even hearing and sight and taste. And guess what happened? The men's bodies got younger. They improved in memory and manual dexterity. They were more active and more self-sufficient, and they behaved more like 55-year-olds instead of 75-year-olds. Now, and get this, measurements of finger length, which tends to shorten with age, indicated that their fingers had lengthened. Stiffened joints were more flexible, and their posture had started to straighten. Muscle strength, as measured by hand grip, improved, and hearing and vision improved as well. Now, intelligence is usually considered fixed when you get to be an adult, but over half of the experimental group showed increased intelligence. Our imaginations are very powerful. What we think can actually change our bodies. Think about that. Now, are you ready for door number 3 in our Advent calendar? It sounds more like The Price is Right. Door number 3. Oh, okay. But they're all winners today, okay? Imagine behind door number 3 is something that you want for the world, right? What are your hopes for the world? What was it that you would like to see when we open this door? Now, imagine it very clearly. Get a clear picture of it in your mind. Don't just name a concept like peace or justice or something, but picture how it would actually look, okay? Are there people in the picture? If so, what are they doing? What are they wearing? How do they move? What's happening? So imagine it, something that you want for the world. Okay, are you ready? We're going to open the door, say, ooh, ah, okay? And savor that feeling, this longing you have, this hope for the world. You can bring it into being. Yes, you. We live a limited life, but sometimes those limits are of our own making. You know, back in the days of horses and buggies, sometimes they used to put blinkers on the horses, you know. The horses would just have a narrow view ahead and they wouldn't be distracted or startled. So I encourage you to take off the blinkers. Look around you at all the possibilities. Allow yourself to be startled by possibility. Allow hope to blossom in your heart. So I'd like to know, does anybody want to share what they saw when we opened one of these doors up here? Nancy, you can bring the mic around to them. Yeah? What did you see behind any of these doors? Bram.
The environment with snow for the polar bears.
Ah, snow for the polar bears. All right. Okay, Kathy.
I was trying to think together.
Hugging each other. Wow, isn't that a wonderful vision? Middle East peace, yeah. And back there.
Door number 2, my two sisters standing up and healthy.
Oh, standing up and healthy. Yes, healthy and vibrant again. Anybody else? Marianne Williamson is a spiritual activist, author, lecturer, and founder of the Peace Alliance. It's a grassroots campaign supporting legislation to establish a United States Department of Peace. You like that? Yes. And Marianne said something very profound. She said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." She says, "We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you." She says, "We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." At this time of Advent, think upon these things. Nurture the light within you. Nurture the spark of imagination, of creativity, and know that you have the power to change the world. Blessed be. And if you will extinguish the chalice, stand as you're able as Nancy extinguishes the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of possibility. May it continue to shine bright within each of us. Go now and bring light to the world. Bring your whole self, your imagination, your creativity. Go forth and change the world. Blessed be. Join hands for our closing song. Oh, get Pauline in there. Go. There we go. All right, we've got it. All right. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go in peace. Hey, Johnny, how are you?